Our top focus on WION at the Savo. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, who was captured by U.S. forces in Caracas, arrived at a military base in the United States on Saturday evening. The left-wing leader was captured after months of threats and pressure tactics by U.S. President Donald Trump in a swift but audacious military operation. Now, Maduro was seen surrounded by FBI agents as he descended the boarding stairs of a U.S. government plane at a New York State National Guard facility and was slowly escorted along the tarmac. Vehicles which were possibly transporting Maduro were filmed leaving the heliport. The helicopter that may have been carrying Venezuelan president was later seen over Manhattan. According to reports, Maduro will be transferred to the Metropolitan Detention Center in the Sunset Park neighborhood of Brooklyn. Maduro and his wife, seized overnight from their homes on a military base, were first taken aboard a U.S. warship on their way to face prosecution for a Justice Department indictment, accusing them of participating in a narco-terrorism conspiracy. Following the military action, Trump said that the United States will run Venezuela with a group and will tap into its huge oil reserves. Trump said he was designating people from his cabinet to be in charge in Venezuela, but gave no details of how this would work.
We're going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. So we don't want to be involved with having somebody else get in, and we have the same situation that we had for the last long period of years. So we are going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. And it has to be judicious because that's what we're all about. We're going to have our very large United States oil companies, the biggest anywhere in the world, go in, spend billions of dollars, fix the badly broken infrastructure, the oil infrastructure, and start making money for the country.
Well, Trump also indicated that U.S. troops could be deployed in Venezuela in the near future and said that Washington is not afraid of boots on the ground.
Well, you know, they always say boots on the ground. Oh, so we're not afraid of boots on the ground if we have to have. We had boots on the ground last night at a very high level, actually. We're not afraid of it. We don't mind saying it. But we're going to make sure that that country is run properly. We're not doing this in vain. This is a very dangerous attack. This is an attack that could have gone very, very badly.
The U.S. President also described the current state of the Latin American country and said that U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio had been in touch with Venezuelan Vice President Delcy Rodriguez, who had been sworn in as Maduro's successor. Trump touted that Rodriguez was essentially willing to work with Washington. Listen in.
You have a vice president who's been appointed by Maduro, and right now she's the vice president, and she's, I guess, the president. She was sworn in as president just a little while ago. She had a long conversation with Marco, and she said, we'll do whatever you need. I think she was quite gracious, but she really doesn't have a choice.
Now, contrary to Trump's statement, Venezuelan Vice President Delcy Rodriguez demanded the immediate release of President Nicolas Maduro, and First Lady Celia Flores Rodriguez came live on state television alongside senior government and military officials. She said that the country's political and military leadership was unified and fully mobilized.
We demand the immediate release of President Nicolas Maduro and his wife Celia Flores, the only president of Venezuela, President Nicolas Maduro. Here is the most important high command of the Venezuelan state, the military high command, the high command of the state, the high command of the Council of the Vice President. All factors are combined. Political factors of national power in Venezuela.
And for more of this, our correspondent Susan Tehrani has sent us this report. Take a look.
Nicolas Maduro and his wife have been brought to New York after being captured in a dramatic U.S. military operation in Venezuela. The couple was flown into Stewart International Airport under heavy federal guard, and they're expected to be processed and detained in federal custody ahead of their arraignment in federal court next week on long-standing narco-terrorism, cocaine trafficking, and weapons charges unsealed in the Southern District of New York. The U.S. government move follows intense military action in Caracas and has triggered international praise and criticism alike. The United Nations Security Council will hold an emergency meeting over U.S. actions in Venezuela on Monday. Susan Tehrani reporting from New York for WION World is One.